The first supernovas might have filled the early universe with water, enabling life as soon as 100 million years post-Big Bang. The Euclid Dark Universe Telescope has uncovered a remarkable Einstein ring in distorted space-time. A study has announced the first supernovas might have filled the early universe with water, enabling life as soon as 100 million years post-Big Bang. The Euclid Dark Universe Telescope has uncovered a remarkable Einstein ring in distorted space-time. A study has announced the discovery of the largest structure in the universe, the Quipu, which is 13,000 times the length of the Milky Way. UK and US do not sign a declaration on ensuring AI is safe for all at the Paris summit. Vance warns Europeans that excessive regulation might stifle AI development. France unveils a $112 billion AI investment to compete with the US's Stargate project, while the EU commits $200 billion in AI spending to try to match the progress of the US and China. Wall Street Journal reports that an Elon Musk-led group offers $97.4 billion for control of OpenAI, but Sam Altman declines the offer, stating that the OpenAI board will reject Elon Musk's $97 billion proposal. Conservative political leadership linked to increased premature mortality rates. A study indicates Donald Trump exhibits higher levels of dark tetrad traits compared to Joe Biden. The Pope warns that Trump's mass deportation of migrants will end badly, as it is built on the basis of force, and not on the truth about the equal dignity of every human being.
German customers of Seagate claim their new hard drives were previously used, with reports suggesting these HDDs had been in operation for tens of thousands of hours. Meta torrented over 81 terabytes of data through Anna's archive, despite few seeders. Nokia secures its first ever patent injunction across Germany against the Amazon Prime Video streaming service, following 3 victories over Amazon devices. Meta's Brain 2 QWERTY AI model converts brain signals into text as a non-invasive alternative to Musk's Neuralink. The FDA and EU approve Nuance Audio, smart glasses integrated with hearing aids, for commercial sale. Huawei increases smartwatch sales by registering them as medical devices.
A telecoms cable in Russia's Baltic Sea has been damaged due to external impact, according to TASS. Zelensky has suggested trading land with Putin, including the return of Kursk. The Kremlin recently stated that a significant part of Ukraine wants to be Russia. 2 days prior, Trump remarked that Ukraine may be Russian someday, before Zelensky's meeting with Vance. Russia has extended an offer to India for its most advanced Su-57 stealth fighter jet, with UAC officially confirming the co-production offer to India.
Discover. Spanish running of the Bulls Festival reveals crowd movements can be predictable, above a certain density. Study finds, medieval Dutch site may have hosted devil's money, cult rituals.
Passmark records its first annual decline in average CPU performance over its 2-decade history of benchmarking. Intel criticizes AMD and NVIDIA in its recent product security report, highlighting that AMD has 78 vulnerabilities without any planned fixes, while NVIDIA is noted for having only high-severity security issues. The rate of IT unemployment increases to 5.7% as artificial intelligence impacts employment in the technology sector. Valve prohibits compulsory in-game advertisements across all Steam games. A Donkey Kong enthusiast, after 44 years, finds out that the iconic kill screen isn't truly the conclusion. A recently disclosed Nintendo Switch 2 patent affirms mouse compatibility and provides additional specifications.
Month removed from Google Calendar.
A recent study suggests that fiber might safeguard your gut against an excessive increase in harmful bacteria. Research indicates that antibiotics, vaccinations, and anti-inflammatory drugs are associated with a decreased likelihood of developing dementia. The study attributes the rising incidence of lung cancer in non-smokers to air pollution in China.
Thomson Reuters secures a preliminary victory in a court case concerning AI. Thomson Reuters secures a preliminary victory in a court case concerning AI, copyright, and fair use. Individuals are gradually developing more confidence in AI and perceiving it as increasingly similar to humans. According to Wall Street Journal, DeepSeek provides information on bioweapons and self-harm.
Russia introduces a prototype of a plasma rocket engine. General Atomics achieves successful testing of nuclear thermal propulsion reactor fuel at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Anduril assumes control of Microsoft's $22 billion U.S. Army headset program.
Neuro-ophthalmologists are worried about eye issues in patients taking GLP-1 anti-diabetic drugs. A study indicates that multiple psychiatric disorders have a common origin. Researchers report that older individuals in England are experiencing greater happiness and satisfaction post-COVID.
MIT's robot bees achieve unprecedented pollination milestones, including a 1,000-second hover and various acrobatic maneuvers. Volabat creates a prototype wooden jacket by transforming trees into garments with intricate grids of timber. Stellantis unveils pop-up advertisements in its vehicles, leading to widespread discontent among car owners.
In the United States, YouTube has made a surprising announcement, with its CEO stating that television has surpassed mobile as the primary device for watching content. Meanwhile, Netflix is exploring video podcasts as it becomes more receptive to creator content. Additionally, Elon Musk has expressed his disinterest in purchasing TikTok's U.S. business. Just 2 days ago, it was reported that TikTok's CEO had met with the White House regarding a potential deal. Furthermore, TikTok has now made its Android app available for download outside of Google Play.
Trump relaxes the enforcement of the U.S. law that prohibits the bribery of foreign officials and stops the prosecution of companies accused of such bribery overseas. The PGA Tour acknowledges Trump's role in advancing the LIV golf deal during his significant sports week. Axios indicates that Disney is revising its DEI initiatives.
Thunderbolts emerge as Marvel's latest heroes in a Super Bowl trailer. The Oscars are contemplating a mandate for films to reveal AI usage following controversies with The Brutalist and Emilia Perez. Naja 2 breaks box office records, becoming the first non-Hollywood film to surpass $1 billion.
BYD introduces free self-driving capabilities to 21 of its electric vehicle models, intensifying competition in China's automotive industry. Shine requests certain Chinese suppliers to expand their operations to Vietnam. Apple collaborates with Alibaba to create AI features for iPhone users in China.
Lee Enterprises, a major media company in the U.S., acknowledges a cyber attack, leading to continued disruptions at its news outlets. The U.S., UK, and Australia are focusing on Russia-based servers due to Lockbit ransomware attacks. With the U.S. imposing sanctions on Lockbit's resilient hosting provider, international law enforcement has apprehended key individuals involved in Phobos and 8-base ransomware as part of a global cybercrime operation. Trump indicates he might stop aid to Jordan and Egypt unless they accept Palestinians. Jordan agrees to care for ill children from Gaza amid Trump's proposed takeover strategy. Palestinian forces are visibly assisting Israel in its conflict in the West Bank.
Lyft plans to introduce Mobileye robot access in Dallas starting in 2026. China's technology stocks are experiencing a bull market following a significant breakthrough by DeepSeek. T-Mobile will implement a $15 monthly fee for the Starlink satellite texting feature.
In the United States, federal authorities have filed charges against 9 individuals suspected of being involved in a robbery ring that successfully stole 2 artworks by Jackson Pollock and Andy Warhol, each valued at millions of dollars. The inaugural official African government meme coin, $CR, has achieved a trading volume of $830 million, marking it as one of the top meme coins to purchase during the current African crypto bull run. Take-Two accidentally disclosed that PS5 sales have surpassed those of the Xbox Series X/S by more than double.
Kris Jenner puts famous family house from Keeping Up with the Kardashians on the market for $13.5 million. Ye's website is temporarily unavailable following the sale of swastika shirts, as the e-commerce platform states the site breached its terms. In 2024, female protagonists have achieved equal representation with male protagonists in the highest-grossing films.
BuzzFeed is launching a new social platform to compete with Instagram, TikTok, and X, aiming to spread joy. Meta and Child Help have introduced a curriculum to assist students in avoiding online exploitation. Tumblr will become part of the Fediverse once its WordPress migration is finished. Google AI chief dismisses DeepSeek's cost allegations as overblown. According to Reuters, OpenAI is preparing to complete its initial custom chip design this year. The Wall Street Journal notes that China's approach in the trade war involves intimidating U.S. tech firms. Bloomberg highlights that Taiwan's exports to Mexico have surged by nearly 500% prior to the imposition of U.S. tariffs. It is reported that chipmaker SMIC experienced a 45% decline in profits in 2024 due to ongoing U.S.-China trade tensions.
Zelensky says Europe's ability to ensure Ukraine's security is contingent upon America's involvement. North Korea labels Trump's proposal to take over Gaza as absurd. A Danish petition advocating for the purchase of California garners 200,000 signatures.
Wall Street Journal reports that China attempts to mediate in Ukraine. Hegseth dismisses Ukraine's NATO membership, emphasizing Europe's duty for its security, stating Ukraine cannot anticipate reverting to previous borders or joining NATO. Trump claims to have conversed with Putin and reached an agreement to negotiate a Ukraine ceasefire, with the Kremlin announcing Putin's invitation to Trump for discussions in Moscow. Leaders assert that no enduring peace in Ukraine is possible without Europe's involvement in negotiations following the Trump-Putin call.
Sea turtles use magnetic map and compass to navigate the ocean. As sea turtles dance, when their superpower leads them to food. In the U.S., $10 million was spent on transgender animal testing, Watchdog Group says, as Congresswoman Mace opens hearing on oversight of taxpayer-funded animal cruelty. U.S. wildfire suppressants rife with toxic heavy metals, study finds.
Jeffrey Epstein Task Force formed as FBI announces discovery of 2,400 new JFK assassination files. United States plans to release Russian cyber money launderer in return for Mark Fogel. In the United Kingdom, MI5 allegedly misled courts to safeguard a violent neo-Nazi spy, and the MI5 chief reportedly contacted the BBC boss to suppress the story about the violent neo-Nazi spy. Tesla has initiated legal actions against customers and journalists in China, achieving success in most cases, according to a review. It is reportedly using its close ties with the Chinese Communist Party to penalize drivers who report issues with their brakes suddenly failing. Bloomberg indicates that Temu and Shein are experiencing a decline in U.S. sales following Trump's focus on China trade. Reuters suggests that Shein is planning to reduce its valuation to $50 billion in a London IPO, as its IPO plans are affected by Trump's crackdown on low-cost parcels. Apple and Google have reinstated the TikTok app after receiving assurances from Trump.
Manhattan U.S. attorney and leading DOJ official step down following directive to dismiss Eric Adams' case. Kamala Harris emerges as the Democratic frontrunner for California governor in 2026. According to a poll, researchers report a 50% rise in hate speech on X since Elon Musk took over. Wall Street Journal indicates that, according to U.S. intelligence, Israel perceives an opportunity for strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. State media in Iran reports that 2 British nationals are detained on security charges. Iran's Khamenei emphasizes the necessity to enhance Iran's military capabilities following threats from Trump.
German Navy chief reveals warship sabotage amid rising Russian threat to NATO. Study indicates Russian defense spending surpasses total European expenditure. Ukraine captures high-ranking intelligence officer, alleging collaboration with Russia. A concealed Picasso artwork from the initial Blue period has been uncovered using advanced technology. In May 2024, a massive solar storm generated 2 new radiation belts encircling Earth. Research conducted in India indicates that children employ distinct math abilities in their professional endeavors compared to their academic pursuits.
Trump declares that Palestinians will not be allowed to return to Gaza under his proposal. The Palestinian Authority terminates martyr payments, potentially signaling an approach towards Trump, as the Palestinian president abolishes the prisoner payment system condemned by the U.S. The Trump administration approves the reform of Palestinian prisoner payments, which have been labeled pay for slay.
In the UK, the government announced that construction on up to 12 new towns in England will commence by the next election. Starmer is set to reveal a plan for these new towns, which draws inspiration from King Charles. A report indicates that Italy, Greece, and Spain are among the top 10 countries most impacted by extreme weather. It is reportedly that the German far right is seeking to ally with Orbán to internally dismantle the EU.
ARM plans to release its own chip this year, with Meta as a client. A study claims that China's supercomputer chips have become 10 times more powerful than NVIDIA's. Reuters indicates that buyout firms are competing for the cybersecurity company Trend Micro, according to sources. Acetaminophen use during pregnancy may increase children's risk of autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability. Research supports the health benefits of cycling, especially in lowering sickness absences. A study associates birth control rings and patches with an elevated risk of clots and strokes.
German regulator accuses Apple of misusing power regarding its app tracking tool. OpenAI removes its diversity commitment webpage from its website. The upcoming Harry Potter HBO series is considering John Lithgow for the role of Dumbledore.
OpenAI delays its O3 AI model to focus on a unified next-generation release, with Sam Altman outlining the strategy for OpenAI's GPT-5. ChatGPT's energy use is disclosed, just 0.3 watts per response, much less than previously speculated. Elon Musk announces he will retract his bid to buy OpenAI if the board halts the shift to a for-profit business.
Trump suggests Russia's reinstatement in the G7. According to reports, Trump suggests Russia's reinstatement in the G7. According to reports, Trump is interested in discussions with Russia and China regarding reductions in military expenditure. Reports indicate that the U.S. is transferring nonviolent, low-risk migrants to Guantanamo, contrary to its commitment to detain the worst individuals there.
The official Doge website has been updated, with a promise of savings updates by Valentine's Day. 14 states have filed a lawsuit against Doge, criticizing Elon Musk's unprecedented power as unconstitutional. It has been noted that anyone can push updates to the Doge.gov website, as cutbacks lead to hackers interacting with Musk's Doge site. In the U.S., HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, has allocated over $22 billion in grants for migrants, which includes funds for cars, home loans, and startups. The U.S. State Department has removed Tesla from a $400 million armored electric vehicle plan due to concerns about conflicts. Trump declares tariffs on the EU in response to VAT, while signing a plan for reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trading partners, leading to economic uncertainty. Trump indicates that Modi will initiate trade discussions following the U.S.'s tariff announcement. Taiwan commits to enhancing communication and investment in the U.S. after Trump's tariff threats. Porsche is reducing approximately 2,000 positions in Germany as the challenges with its EV intensify. U.S. Coast Guard shares a recording that seems to capture the sound of the Titanic submersible's implosion. In 2024, all 32 swimmers who underwent the most drug tests worldwide were Chinese. According to the data, Trump Jr. supports enhanced games, a new event that could challenge the Olympics by permitting certain steroids in sports. European Parliament advises legislators to exclusively use encrypted messages following cyber attacks by China. In the United States, the Salt typhoon breach affects telecom providers Cisco devices. Microsoft reveals that a sandworm subgroup has executed global cyber attacks across more than 15 countries.
Baidu, a Chinese company, plans to release its newest Ernie AI model as open source due to intensifying competition. Meanwhile, AI licensing agreements with Google and OpenAI contribute to 10% of Reddit's income. The UK has removed safety from its AI organization, now named the AI Security Institute, and has signed a memorandum of understanding with Anthropic. Additionally, publishers such as Condé Nast and McClatchy have accused the AI company Cohere of copyright infringements.
Chain analysis indicates that pig butchering scams have surged by nearly 40% in 2024 compared to the previous year, as the fraud sector adopts AI and enhances its sophistication. Core DDoS radar shows a 56% rise in DDoS attacks over the same period. According to Google's threat intelligence team, cybercrime poses a significant threat to national security, with U.S. adversaries increasingly seeking assistance from cybercriminals and their malware.
Malaysia collaborates with Google to introduce AI to 445,000 civil servants. In the U.S., following the Copilot trial, government employees found Microsoft's AI less beneficial than anticipated. YouTube integrates Google VO AI video generation tools into Shorts.
Mexico's president targets U.S. gunmakers if cartels are classified as terrorist organizations. 3 weeks prior, a U.S. appeals court reinstates Mexico's $10 billion lawsuit against these gunmakers. Vance urges Europeans to cease excluding parties labeled as extreme, and VP Vance criticizes Europe's mass migration policies in Munich the day following a terror attack. In the U.S., California Tesla owners are reportedly receiving threats to sell their vehicles or face vandalism. Hedge fund startup that replaced analysts with AI outperforms the market. OpenAI is considering a grown-up mode to make ChatGPT less overly agreeable. Meta joins the AI humanoid competition by establishing a new robotics division to rival Tesla and Figure AI.
Princeton neuroscientists have unraveled the mechanism behind decision-making. Birds have independently evolved sophisticated brains compared to mammals. Men place a higher significance on romantic relationships than women do.
China plans to create gene editing tools and new crop varieties as part of its biotechnology initiative. A study suggests that consuming food from plastic takeout containers may elevate the risk of heart failure. Artificial intelligence has been employed to design a multi-step enzyme capable of digesting certain types of plastic. Ukraine declines Trump's initial demand for half of its mineral resources. Macron convenes an urgent European summit regarding Trump, with a Polish minister confirming, and Starmer is set to participate in Macron's European Crisis Summit, focused on Trump's Ukraine strategy. Meanwhile, a U.S. envoy states that Europe will not be involved in Ukraine's peace negotiations. After an assault on the opposition, Zelensky essentially initiates the election season. 2 weeks prior, Reuters reported that the U.S. desires Ukraine to conduct elections subsequent to a ceasefire, according to Trump's envoy. Parental divorce during childhood is linked to a 61% increased risk of stroke in older adults. In Argentina, Bullrich stated that permits for marijuana cultivation will be canceled. 5 years prior, Argentina permitted the home cultivation of medicinal marijuana. An unforeseen anomaly has been discovered in the Pacific Ocean, potentially serving as a global time marker.
Chiwetel Ejiofor and Renee Zellweger had a brief encounter before the filming of Bridget Jones concluded. Renee Zellweger, along with Hugh Grant and Emma Thompson to reprise role in Bridget Jones, mad about the boy. Chiwetel Ejiofor and Leah Woodall are also confirmed to join the cast. The Trump administration plans to withdraw $20 billion in funding from climate projects. The Chiltern Firehouse, a popular celebrity venue, has been indefinitely closed following a significant fire that devastated the London hotel.
Trump officials reportedly dismissed nuclear staff without understanding their role in managing the
withdraw $20 billion in funding from climate projects. The Chiltern Firehouse
is considering operating Intel's U.S. factories, following a request from the Trump team. Igloo has issued a recall for over 1 million 90-quart rolling coolers due to risks of fingertip amputation and crushing.
The Guardian enters a licensing agreement with OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT.
$1 trillion in 2024 as network's growth outpaces rivals including PayPal. Optimism motivates people to save for future despite present challenges, study suggests.
Referring to solitary time as me time enhances positive emotions and alters perceptions positively, whereas calling it isolation does not. Wired notes the loneliness epidemic is a security crisis. 16 months prior, WHO identifies loneliness as a health risk. In the UK, a brain implant that potentially elevates mood using ultrasound is undergoing an NHS trial.
Rubio labels Iran as the most significant source of instability in the region, emphasizing the need for action. In a joint statement, Rubio and Netanyahu confirm their shared strategy for Gaza and focus on Iran, with Netanyahu stating that with U.S. backing, we can complete the task against Iran. Additionally, Rubio insists that Hamas must be completely destroyed, raising skepticism about the Gaza ceasefire agreement. A survey reveals a rise in anti-Semitism and safety concerns among U.S. Jews. Israel receives a delivery of heavy bombs approved by Trump. Israel receives a delivery of heavy bombs approved by Trump. Reuters reports that 5 Iraqi banks will be prohibited from U.S. dollar transactions, while Iraq's central bank refutes claims of U.S. sanctions on these banks amid differing reports. X contests a German court ruling mandating the sharing of election data. 10 days prior, German non-profits succeeded in a lawsuit against X for public data access. Germany's Habeck criticizes tech oligarch Musk and advocates for a European version of X. Additionally, X is reportedly preventing links to Signal, a secure messaging platform utilized by federal employees.
Conclave was awarded the title of Best Film at the BAFTAs, while The Brutalist received additional recognition. Both films achieved a total of 4 awards each. Saudi Arabia has entered into a $1 billion agreement with Leonard Blavatnik's sports streaming company. William Byron secured his second consecutive victory at the Daytona 500, following laps taken by Trump. Chinese sex doll manufacturer anticipates increased sales in 2025 due to AI enhancing adult toys user experience. Chinese e-scooter companies Ninebot and Neo incorporate DeepSeek AI for more intelligent rides, while Tencent evaluates DeepSeek to incorporate China's leading AI technology into its Weixin super app. Goldman Sachs notes that China's progress could amplify AI's influence on the global GDP.
China might postpone Tesla's full self-driving approval, while new Model Y deliveries are set to begin. Tesla is preparing for a delay in obtaining its China license amid escalating trade tensions with the Trump administration. Sources indicate that Shine is under investor pressure to reduce its valuation to $30 billion. TikTok is gaining market share in the U.S. from Shine, despite potential risks. A video game designed to last just 1 minute has demonstrated an 80% accuracy rate in diagnosing autism. Research indicates that taking naps in the afternoon can enhance your problem-solving abilities. Theoretical physicists have discovered that quantum systems exhibit arrows of time that are in opposition to each other.
Solar-powered copper nanoflowers facilitate the production of sustainable fuels and chemicals. Filipino scientists find an inexpensive method to create transparent aluminum. A study proposes that particles from Alpha Centauri are already present in our solar system.
Polish Foreign Minister Sikorski declares that Zelensky's idea of a European army is unlikely to occur, stating that the EU will not establish a unified military force despite the Russian threat. UK Prime Minister Starmer proposes deploying British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine. France has been noted for rejecting Russia's re-entry into the G7.
Open-source LLMs are included in Europe's digital sovereignty roadmap. The New York Times has started using AI tools in its newsroom. A Stanford study indicates that large language models have a worrying tendency to flatter users, while older AI models are exhibiting signs of cognitive decline, according to another study.
Authorities have located the leader of the BitConnect cryptocurrency scam in India, and they have successfully seized $190 million. In response to Zelle scams, Chase Bank has decided to block payments to contacts on social media platforms. Additionally, it has been reported that China is actively seeking methods to safeguard data against the potential threats posed by quantum computers. High-ranking officials from Russia and the United States are scheduled to discuss concluding the Ukraine conflict without involving Kyiv. Meanwhile, Ukraine is urging European nations to appoint an envoy for peace negotiations. The U.S. has provided Ukraine with a document to utilize its minerals, yet has proposed minimal compensation in return. According to the New York Times, Putin has consistently sought greater influence in Europe, and Trump might inadvertently facilitate this. It is reported that Trump is insisting Ukraine relinquish control of its ports and oil in exchange for a $500 billion deal. Elon Musk is not in control of Doge and lacks any decision-making power, according to the White House. Trump views psychiatric and weight loss medications as dangers to children. 5 days prior, following Kennedy's confirmation, Trump creates a Make America Healthy Again commission. Gold bullion is flown to New York due to tariffs increasing the price difference with London. Russia asserts that Ukraine possesses a sovereign right to become a member of the EU, yet it opposes Ukraine's accession to NATO. Europe, excluded from US-Russia discussions on Ukraine, is urgently seeking a response, planning a summit in Paris. Additionally, the Abu Dhabi energy company ADNOC has signed a gas deal with India valued at over $7 billion.
Mexican military captures 4,000 kilograms of narcotics in Sinaloa. According to CNN, the CIA is conducting secret drone operations in Mexico to monitor drug cartels. Authorities detain suspected leader of the cult-like Zizian group associated with numerous homicides. China vows to safeguard private enterprises against unlawful inquiries and economic offenses.
Delta jet inverts on a snowy Toronto runway. All 80 passengers and crew survive. Los Angeles Mayor Base admits Africa trip was a complete error following a failed wildfire response. Germany plans to reduce its climate goals.
Aerobic exercise for 30 minutes improves cognitive function in people with ADHD. According to a study, early trial results suggest mRNA vaccines could be effective against pancreatic cancer. Recent research connects the NOVA1 protein to the origins of human language. A greater number of migrants does not necessarily lead to an increase in crime. According to a German institute, Costa Rica plans to accept Central Asian and Indian migrants deported by the United States. In January, the U.S. Border Patrol apprehended 29,000 migrants illegally crossing the Mexico border, marking the lowest figure since May 2020.
Pro-Russian hackers target Italian websites following the president's comparison of Ukraine's invasion to Nazi actions. An expert warns that Donald Trump may have given Vladimir Putin the green light to strike London, Paris, or Brussels. Wang states that China endorses all peace initiatives in Ukraine and that Gaza should not be used as a bargaining chip.
Nike collaborates with Kim Kardashian's shapewear brand, Skims, aiming to expand its reach to more women. Coca-Cola ventures into the fashionable prebiotic soda sector with the launch of Simply Pop. HP plans to acquire portions of the Humane iPin startup from former Apple executives for $116 million. Additionally, all of Humane's AI pins will cease functioning in 10 days. As the $700 iPin is discontinued and rendered obsolete after less than a year.
President Trump has issued an executive order asserting authority over autonomous government agencies. In Cambodia, lawmakers have enacted a new law prohibiting the denial of the Khmer Rouge genocide. Meanwhile, the president of Colombia has claimed that there was a conspiracy to shoot down his aircraft using missiles.
South Africa's minister has declared that the country is open to receiving bids for its nuclear project from any nation, including Russia and Iran. The Brazilian government has decided that Brazil will join the OPEC Plus forum. The European Union has imposed new sanctions on Russia, specifically targeting aluminum production and ships associated with the Shadow Fleet.
Director Brady Corbett claims he earned absolutely no money from his Oscar-nominated film, The Brutalist. The Chinese film Neza 2 has achieved the status of the highest-grossing animated film worldwide. Daniel Craig has decided to withdraw from his role in the DC Studios' war movie, SGT, Rock.
South Korea is prepared to accept North Korean prisoners of war, according to its government's communication with Ukraine. Meanwhile, former President Trump has labeled Ukrainian President Zelensky a dictator, as their relationship becomes strained over the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Trump also asserts that Russia holds the advantage in negotiations regarding Ukraine. In a related development, Russian President Putin emphasizes that Ukraine will not be excluded from peace talks, but he stresses that trust between the US and Russia is crucial for achieving a resolution. Trump claims Elon Musk's $10 million settlement in the Twitter lawsuit was significantly reduced. In Argentina,
Trump claims he would have faced a very difficult life had he not won the election. Journalists initiate legal proceedings against the Italian government regarding allegations of spyware. Nationwide Dark Indonesia protests occur as students demonstrate against Prabowo's policies.
Russian wealth fund chief claims U.S. businesses lost $300 billion by exiting Russia, and he praises Trump as a problem solver before Riyadh talks, anticipating U.S. company returns in 2025. Trump, with "you could have made a deal," accuses Ukraine following U.S.-Russia talks, while Zelensky calls for more truth after Trump implies Ukraine initiated the war. Russia asserts NATO states cannot enforce Ukraine peace, demands the membership pledge be removed, as Lavrov refutes the three-point peace plan and cautions against Western peacekeepers in Ukraine.
Meta's WhatsApp is encountering stricter regulations from the EU, with its user base exceeding 45 million each month. Meanwhile, Niantic, the developer of Pokémon Go, is close to a $3.5 billion agreement to sell its games division. Additionally, the New York Post has highlighted a new application that provides on-demand personal bodyguards and private motorcades in New York City.
Nokia has prepared its cellular network for the moon, as Intuitive Machines finishes the last steps in installing the lunar lander. Meanwhile, Chinese researchers have created an injection designed to extend the lifespan of batteries used in smartphones and electric vehicles. Additionally, Microsoft has introduced the Majorana 1 chip, which is set to revolutionize quantum computing by addressing significant industry-level challenges within a few years rather than decades. This chip is unique in its ability to monitor and manage Majorana particles, rather than the electrons as traditional.
Valve has introduced the Team Fortress 2 SDK, allowing developers to create entirely new games using TF2 as a foundation. Jumbo Cactuar, a card from MTG's Final Fantasy crossover, has been released and is legal for standard play, featuring an impressive 10,000 damage capability. Elon Musk aims to revitalize the gaming industry by establishing an AI gaming development studio.
Shift4, a payments processor, is acquiring Global Blue for $2.5 billion. TikTok has been offered $50 billion by U.S. entrepreneur Reed Rassner to purchase the app. Gabby Petito's parents have expressed their views on the controversial use of AI to recreate her voice in a documentary, with some comments suggesting that Gabby Petito's AI voice recreation in Netflix's documentary feels wrong and unnerves me.
Australia's central bank reduces interest rates for the first time in over 4 years, indicating economic uncertainties. New Zealand's central bank lowers rates by 50 basis points, signaling a more pronounced easing cycle to stimulate the weak economy. The African Development Bank forecasts a growth rate of 4.1% for the continent.
The United States has labeled the Tren de Aragua and other cartels as global terrorist organizations. Mexican president states that U.S. drone flights over Mexican territory are a collaborative effort. It was reported yesterday that the CIA is expanding its secret drone operations over Mexico. In the United States, preliminary data indicate a 16% decrease in homicides in 2024. A UK Paralympian has achieved the approval for a mission to the International Space Station. Physicists have demonstrated that static electricity is influenced by the history of contact between different materials. Meanwhile, the Polish Space Agency is investigating whether an unidentified object is debris from a SpaceX rocket.
Egypt has unveiled its first royal tomb discovery since the unearthing of King Tutankhamun's tomb more than 100 years ago, with the long-lost tomb of King Thutmose II finally being found in Luxor. Additionally, a lost masterpiece by Camille Claudel has been sold for $3.8 million at an auction. Meanwhile, the estate of Michael Jackson is in a legal battle with an auction house over the sale of rare, unreleased music, claiming the sale is a sad attempt to mislead the public. This dispute between the auction house and Jackson's heirs has left the future of 12 previously unreleased tracks by Michael Jackson uncertain.
Continental, a German company, has declared a reduction of 3,000 positions due to difficulties.
Stated that Trump's objective is to eliminate the IRS. Additionally, Trump has remarked that he would have led a very nasty life had he lost the election, and he has suggested distributing 20% of his Doge savings to American citizens.
Russia and the United States are considering collaborating on energy projects in the Arctic following discussions with Saudi Arabia. Denmark is set to increase its defense budget by $17 billion to discourage Russian aggression. The Wall Street Journal has noted that Germany's Alternative for Germany, AfD, party is not aligned with American interests. It has been disclosed that AfD's far-right leader, Alice Weidel, engaged in clandestine meetings with a Chinese envoy. Chinese state media has indicated that support for the AfD is rising as the upcoming election approaches.
In the United States, the head of Social Security has reportedly resigned due to concerns about the access of recipient information by Doge. Additionally, the head of the food division at the FDA is said to have quit, citing the mass staff cuts during the Trump administration. Allegedly, Doge was involved in the dismissal of FDA employees who were reviewing clinical trials for Elon Musk's Neuralink. This situation has been remarked upon as the Trump administration firing thousands for performance without evidence in a chaotic and hasty manner, mirroring a common tactic in corporate America. Google has reached a settlement with Italy, agreeing to pay $340 million to resolve a tax evasion investigation. Meanwhile, ByteDance supporters in the United States assert that China's growth will mitigate any potential damage from a TikTok ban. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal has reported on plans for an AI data center in South Korea, which could have up to 3 gigawatts of power.
OpenAI has launched the SWE Lancer benchmark, which consists of more than 1,400 freelance software engineering tasks sourced from Upwork. These tasks have a total real-world payout value of $1 million. An AI brain decoder is capable of interpreting a person's thoughts using a brief brain scan and minimal training. The AI revolution spearheaded by China's DeepSeek could potentially increase financial sector profits by up to 13%, according to UBS.
In the United States, a severe winter storm has resulted in at least 10 fatalities, with strong winds and heavy snow advancing further east. A study indicates that melting glaciers have contributed to nearly 2 centimeters of sea level rise this century. The Swedish Supreme Court has ruled that Greta Thunberg and other activists are unable to sue the state regarding climate action.
Axios states that conservative radio hosts have been invited to broadcast from the Pentagon. Additionally, 55% of digital magazine circulation is sourced from Spotify-like services. Furthermore, Ampere reveals that streamers will allocate $12.5 billion to sports rights in 2025, with DAZN taking the lead.
Mushroom fiber might shield against the flu. According to research indicates that college graduates enjoy an astonishing 11-year longer lifespan compared to individuals who never complete high school. Researchers report that life expectancy growth has halted throughout Europe, with England experiencing the most significant decline.
ARC Institute's AI model Evo 2 creates the genetic code for all life domains. Microsoft introduces a new generative AI model, Muse, aimed at gaming, potentially bringing back classic games. Researchers discover that Elon Musk's new Grok AI is highly susceptible to hacking.
The Last of Us Season 2 receives an official premiere date. SiriusXM extends its podcast subscription to YouTube and Spotify. Sony releases disturbing texts from an ex-Bungie director to female employees in a continuing wrongful termination lawsuit, highlighting Sony's strong defense against the Bungie veterans' claims.
AMD might prevent Intel's sale because of a cross-licensing agreement. The Cybertruck is the newest Tesla model to achieve a 5-star crash rating. A 3-year investigation reveals that Mackenzie Scott's $19 billion in charitable donations has had a transformational impact on nonprofits. Synthetic diamonds, featuring a hexagonal lattice, surpass natural diamonds in unparalleled hardness. Dogs tend to blink more frequently when they see other dogs blinking, suggesting a social link. In 2024, 2/3 of the Earth's surface recorded extreme heat levels.
Economists predict that China will reduce its benchmark policy rate next month, following the Fox decision to maintain the LPR at its current level. Meanwhile, Hegseth has instructed the Pentagon to identify $50 billion in cuts this year to support Trump's military objectives. Additionally, Australia and Papua New Guinea have committed to finalizing a defense treaty.
Macron's mini-summit highlights EU disputes regarding Trump's actions in Ukraine, and France clarifies it is not preparing to send ground troops to the front in Ukraine. Palantir CEO advocates for tech patriotism and cautions about AI warfare. Kazakhstan and Jordan collaborate on uranium research.
Lloyd's is evaluating the technical abilities of numerous IT employees. Currently, 27% of CFO job postings include AI as a requirement. Meta has revealed LlamaCon,